Welcome, folks, to another episode of 5 Minutes with Gray Hair Dave. Yep, that's it. That's right. I'm back. This is episode number 105, if you're paying attention. So I didn't get to one yesterday, and I apologize for that. A couple things came up, and I needed to take care of them. So you understand all that. This is 105. This gets me even for the week, as far as I'm concerned. You know, 5 a week. This will get me back in shape to where I need to be. Now, that being said, there will probably be a show tomorrow, but there's no guarantee right now because I do have an appointment with my accountant tomorrow morning to go over a business plan of sorts for Boomer Podcasters, which is a new program I'm going to start. Where I'm helping people who want to podcast, who are boomers and Gen Xers, and maybe even Gen Ys, or anybody who wants to use this service. And I plan to do it at such a price to where hopefully it's more affordable. And at least in the beginning, there's always add-ons later on maybe, but that's if you need them, I'm not here to make a killing at it. I'm here to make a little bit extra money and start retirement from the actual go-to-work person and be that go-to-work-for-myself person full-time. And that's my goal here. I hope it happens quickly. I hope that it's something that people like. But there's a lot of planning and there's a lot of, you got to get your ducks in a row when you're starting a business, right? You got to talk to an accountant. You got to see if you need to be an LLC or a C Corp or an S Corp, or do you need to just stay as a sole proprietor for a while until the money starts coming in? And then, there's taxes and bank accounts so that you're not commingling the money, which I know is a bad idea, with your own personal accounts. So there's that. And then you got to have an EIN number or an FEIN number, which is a federal tax ID number, basically, and so on and so forth. He knows all these things, my accountant, my big brother, Paul. He is the genius at this. This is part of what he does for people, is helps them get going and helps them forecast and helps them make the right decisions in the beginning so that the failures don't happen. So I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. Be about an hour with him on a Zoom meeting, and we will go from there. But what was happening, before that this week is a lot of just normal stuff going on. You got running around to do for this and that, or bills to pay and groceries to get and put the gas in the car kind of thing. And then yesterday I went to work and had my last day of training. And now I'm all set to go with my new position, and I start today. And looking forward to it. I get to talk to people more in this position, and you wouldn't think so, but you do. You see a greater volume of people through the day than you do in a bus. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast here. But I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun time. But anyways, let's get back to where we were originally this week with 1981. Now, we talked a lot about music. I didn't. I mean, you didn't. I did. Let's see here. I'm looking through the emails here. And just to see if I got anything from you guys, and doesn't look like yet. A lot of people reaching out saying, hey, I want to sell you this, or I want to sell you that. I'm a wealth advisor. Ooh. Come whatever. But anyways, folks, let's just continue on. So we talked about music yesterday, and let's talk today about television. Cable was way more abundant, and they were getting more and more channels. So you were starting to get the HBOs, maybe the Cinemaxes and all that kind of fun stuff. But on good old-fashioned regular TV, where you could get it with an antenna. Now, I remember at our house in Port Huron, my dad had we had an antenna on top of the house, but I guess eventually it blew down. But we had a TV tower installed. And it was basically this triangular, tubing. It was like triangular truss you might find in a concert or anywhere else. But it had a great, not a humongous, but an antenna on the top. Pretty good one. This one had to be, and my dad had it done professionally. We didn't do it ourselves. And they put it in cement in the ground so that it wasn't, going to blow over easy or fall over. And then the top of the tower with the TV antenna on it was higher than the top of the house. Not a lot, but just enough so we could get good signal. And I thank you for my dad for doing that, because then of course the whole house had to be wired. In a sense, I mean, it went down to the living room, but it also went down to the basement. It went into my bedroom upstairs, which I thought was cool. But it was there and it was fun. But what TV shows were you watching? I mean, let's be honest. I was married at that time, so in fact, in '81, I wonder. I think my mom and dad had actually moved into a mobile home up in Marysville at that point. Anyway, doesn't matter. Back in the day, we had that before I talked my dad into getting cable, and he liked cable back in the 70s. So anyways, here we go. The number one TV show in '81 was the show Dallas. Who shot JR? If you know who shot JR, you watched the whole series. Next game, that number two was 60 Minutes, a TV show which was it's a newscast where they go in depth about programs and things going on. And it's still on today, every Sunday. Number three was the Jeffersons, because they're moving on up to the east side. Three's Company. Three's Company was number 4. Alice was number 5. The Dukes of Hazzard and Too Close for Comfort were both tied for number 6, which I find very hard to believe. Dukes of Hazzard was an action-packed series, and Too Close for Comfort was just a comedy, half-an-hour comedy. Anyway, number 8 was the Monday Night Movie. Number 9 was MASH, because it'd been out for a little while. Number 10, One Day at a Time. Number 11, Monday Night Football. Number 12 was Archie Bunker's Place. Archie Bunker's Place was a spin-off of All in the Family. Number 13 was Falcon Crest, which was a takeoff on Dallas. Number 14 was The Love Boat. I don't sing all that well, as you can tell. Anyway, 15 was Heart to Heart and Trapper John MD. They were tied. Again, an hour show versus a half an hour show. I don't really know how they compare them. Number 17 was Magnum P.I. 18 was Happy Days. 19 was Dynasty, another takeoff on Dallas. And number 20 was Laverne and Shirley. Number 30 was Fantasy Island. Number 27 was Hill Street Blues. Little House on the Prairie and Facts of Life were tied for 24. And number 22 was ABC's Sunday Night Movies. That was the cool thing back in the late 70s and the 80s. They were doing movies of the week, basically, where it was a new movie every Sunday and Monday. I think it was Monday. Was it Monday? We had Monday night movies and Sunday night movies. That's what you did. You had the big shows on prime time on Friday nights. That would, it was the big. ABC really had it all locked up for Friday nights, but that was what we watched back then, and it was fun. It was something to try and keep you home, but the more I think about it, I was married, so I was working. It didn't really matter. what was on TV. I believe my first wife watched Dallas or one of those two. I don't really remember. I really don't, because it was, let's think about it. It's 40 years ago. I don't really want to remember 40 years. Anyways, that's the way it is. So what TV shows do you remember watching when you were in the early 80s? If you were around, if you weren't around, don't let me know. But if you do remember, go to my website, 5minuteswithgrayhairdave.com. That's the number 5, minuteswithgrayhairdave.com. Leave me a message on either the contact me page or use that little microphone in the bottom right-hand corner of every page. Click on it, put your email address in there. I don't sell them. I keep them for myself. I'm selfish. And leave me a message. Leave me a note. Don't forget. If you know somebody who doesn't know what a podcast is, doesn't know where to find them, how to play them, anything at all like that, do me a favor and show them for me. The more listeners I get, the better it is for everybody. I believe everybody should be listening to Dave. Because Gray Hair Dave's got some wisdom, and Gray Hair Dave sometimes just talks about whatever. Just like today, it was a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But it's the show that never ends, folks. Welcome back. Welcome back. If I haven't told you this lately, I am happy you're here. I like talking with you every day. And I'm going to get back on track here with this new schedule. And we'll be talking 5 days a week again. So, from Gray Hair Dave in cloudy Central Florida, you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.